All right, so what we're going to do now is talk about the main points. And that, remember, is Roman numeral number 2. Roman numeral number 2 is our main points. And remember, my informative speech is about happiness, specifically happiness at work with a challenging boss. And I've done the introduction. Now I'm going to move forward to my main points. So I will write here, happiness at work with a challenging boss. Okay, so I'm going to indent 5 spaces and put the letter A. And the first thing that I am going to talk about is the text. What information does the text have in it? So I am going to state the chapter. I'm going to state the name of the author, if there's author for the information that you're giving. And then I'm actually going to give the information. So I indented 5 spaces, and then here I indented 5 spaces, and I put the information. Now, when you get to this point, you certainly can write information that you need underneath it. I just have a prompter. As an experienced public speaker, all I need is a prompter, and I can talk for 30 minutes on those 2 words right there. But I realize, not everyone can do that, and that's okay. It took me a while to get to that point. So after I finish stating what the text says, then I indent 5 spaces, and I put the letter B, and I give my first source. And what is my source? I know that there is a source out there for the Harvard Business Review and happiness. Harvard Business Review on happiness. I know that really exists. I can't remember the issue. I'm pretty sure it's a 2016 issue. So here I am going to put the name of the author, the date of that article. I want to be sure and put the title of that article. And then here I want to give a summary of the information that is pertinent. Okay, so there's a whole magazine, a Harvard Business Review, that is dedicated to happiness. And I don't want to go over the whole thing. I just want to talk about the one article, the most important information. Okay, so so far in my main point, in my whole thesis is about happiness and working with a challenging boss. And I want to talk to you about what the text says about that. So the text, this A connects here, and my source connects here as well. Now then, you can have another source if you would like, and you would add a C and do the same thing with C. But I also want you to have an example. So C is going to be your example. So I indented 5 spaces to put the C. I'm going to indent another 5, which is actually 10 spaces, to put my 1 underneath this piece of logic right here. So an example that I would give, I would probably ask maybe a family member, maybe my brother, who has a challenging boss, who has had a challenging boss when he worked for the restaurant business. And then I had a mom, well, I still have her. She was an OB nurse practitioner. She worked for a lot of physicians. I might ask my mom to give me an example as well. Real examples are better than hypotheticals or fake examples because your audience member needs to believe you. Okay, so what you're doing here is you are organizing your thoughts for the first main point. Okay, main point number one. And main point number one is about happiness and the challenging boss. And I first cite the text and what the text has to say, and then I cite an additional source outside the text, and then I give a specific example. Now, just like A connects to my thesis, B connects to my thesis, C connects to my thesis as well. So do you see how this is going to help you stay on track with your logic? Okay, and then D, it's right there, but I'm going to move over right here. D is a transition statement. Okay, now that we have completed our first main point, we are going to move to our second main point. We have to, just like we had to have a transition statement that said we were done with our introduction, we needed a transition statement that says we're done with our first main point and we are going to move to our second main point, okay? This is how you do every single main point. You have your text, you have a source, you have an example, and you have a transition statement. That's it. That's all you need. Now, of course, when you get more advanced, you can add more, you can change it, organize it differently. But for the short amount of time that we have, this is a bare minimum of what you do. Okay? So this is outlining the thoughts for a main point.